So, I know, then speaking of multiverse and every universe that's been happening around the MCU, the Loki season finale. So, this one's been like a real doozy. Um,
Yeah.
so like, I was just telling Adam, like, I watched all of it, but I know like the last episode, like, I fell asleep during it because I was kind of like I was like I don't know. It wasn't really interesting. I was really hoping for like some like wow or like like a season finale from like Cap or like Falcon and the Winter Soldier or the WandaVision. Yeah, just the I think the Loki season finale was just like a dud in my opinion. I mean, they had some cool stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. It just wasn't like impactful as I thought I would want it to be.
Yeah, and I mean, to its credit, I kind of agree with you that it was. I wouldn't say it's a dud, but it doesn't feel like there's no finality to that. Like this is the end of this series,
Yeah.
and I think the reason for that is because it's not the end of the series, right? I didn't think there was going to be a season two of this, just like there wasn't there hasn't been a season two announced of WandaVision or Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, however you want to look at it.
Yep.
They didn't announce season two of those, so I assumed Loki was going to be like its standalone, its own thing, one season. So if you think about it that way, I feel like the ending isn't as bad as what you make it out. It's not necessarily done. It really sets up a lot of things that are coming to be not only in the next season of Loki, but obviously kind of what I touched about with multiverse and how this could tie into WandaVision. Mostly WandaVision.
And the new Doctor Strange movie
and
too.
the
That's
new
gonna
Doctor
tie in
Strange. Yep,
too. Yeah.
because and spoiler warning here, Kang is in the end. He is the guy at the end of time, right? It was kind of hinted. I mean, anybody who knows anything about the comics, and I don't know much about the comics other than what I read, back end of it is Kang's like the time traveling Thanos, not Thanos, but like the new Thanos that's time traveling, and he's not even really like Thanos. This is all technology. He's like a technological wizard. He's not like a strong guy, right? So, when everybody kind of saw Loki get into time travel and that kind of thing, because he's this branch timeline, I think a lot of people knew or had a thought that it would be Kang at the end. And the guy who plays Kang, I can't remember, I don't know the actor's name, but he's has already been confirmed to play Kang in the new Ant-Man movie. So like the new Ant-Man movie, he is one playing Kang. So when he showed up, I had already seen his face and everything in like when they had announced him coming in the new Ant-Man movie probably a year ago. So when I saw him, I go, "That's Kang." And I think a lot of people who haven't really followed it as deep, like if you're not following this stuff, like it's crazy. Like if you're not following this stuff, I could see how the last episode you're like totally clueless on who that is because they don't even say it's Kang. He doesn't really give his name. I mean, he says he goes by a lot of names, the Conqueror. I
He's
mean, that's because
or
Kang the Conqueror is
I am
probably the
the
most
start
well
of
known.
time or end or time itself or something like that. Because like
Yeah,
me,
and it's just
I
like
was I was one of those. Cause I was like, who the hell's Kang? that was me. Cause
yeah,
like
yeah,
and like
and
I
I
follow Marvel news, but I don't follow it to like that extreme. I had no idea he was in the new Ant Man, the Quantum Mania. So I was like,
yep.
oh okay, he's in it too. Okay.
Yep. So, and it's funny because you can actually see in the second Ant-Man movie, when they go into the quantum realm, there's a little town, there's like a little city, futuristic city in a bubble inside the quantum realm. And that city looks an awful lot like the TVA. Like, for sure looks like the TVA. Now, in the comics, he has his own city, like Kang owns his own city in the quantum realm because it's outside of space and time. So that's where he has his like kingdom or whatever you want to call it. But that looks a lot like the TV, and that might be like one and the same, and like some sort of blend of what the comics are and what they're going for in the movies. So they definitely like the first 100%. Like if you pause it when they're there, it shows up,
That's
and
crazy.
I think that's how they're going to tie it into Ant Man. Um,
That one scene that everyone nitpicked, and it's like, oh, I fucking told you. you know.
yeah, yeah, and it's like, yeah, I mean, as far as Kang in this movie. Definitely a little underwhelming as a villain, but it's also because, uh, again, it touches on it in the episode that this is just one version of Kang, and there's gonna be many versions of him, and this is definitely not Kang the Conqueror, right? This is
His
a different kind of
variant.
Kang, right? This is a different variant of him, and we're gonna see a different variant that's kind of like the conquering type. and that's where we're getting King the Conqueror, and I think we'll see that in the next Ant-Man movie. But
I liked how like when he gave him options to use like it's like, well, if you kill me, there's gonna be another worse, or there's gonna be much worse Kang, or another variant worse than me. It's like you're killing the lesser of two evils type of thing. I was kind of like, okay, okay.
yep,
So like well, spoiler alert, the female Loki kills him, and so that pretty much opens up multiple multiple multiverses now in the MCU, and which kind of like that. So that kind of like leads into what like with the WandaVision, and I'm pretty sure everything will be answered in the Doctor Strange movie for sure, because that movie's gonna be crazy trying to fit all this stuff that we've been watching on TV, and especially for Loki, is to put it all together. And Doctor Strange is gonna be like, "What the fuck, guys?"
yeah. I mean, they're definitely building up to something, and um, I'm curious to see what it is. So yeah, like in terms of like reviewing the season finale, I agree with you. It was kind of lackluster, but the couple episodes before it filled in,
They
or
filled in a lot
I
of
guess
stuff in there too.
I
Like
guess a
what?
couple episodes before that really gave you the action you wanted. But
Yeah,
this last episode,
it was just
it
more.
felt a lot more like it was building up to the next thing
Yeah,
for not only Loki season 2, but
the other
the
stuff that's going to
MCU
be coming out too.
phase phase 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, so maybe that'll probably lead into maybe how they bring in the X-Men, and the other mutants
Fantastic
too.
Four. I mean,
Yeah, that
the
has
new
to be.
team. I mean, the X-Men. We won't get them for 6, 7 years at the earliest. I would say the next big team we're going to see is Fantastic Four.
Yes, that's their end. That's the end of Phase 4. That's Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. That's their
Yeah,
end
and I would
run.
love to see, I'd love to see like a good iteration of it. I'd love to see Chris Evans back as Human Torch. That's
That'll be a multiverse
yeah,
what
I
if
mean
thing.
that's something that you could see
That
is
would
like,
be dope.
you have multiverse with the old guys from the original movies.
Yeah.
You could have a swap with Michael B. Jordan coming in. Like I could see all that stuff happening.
And have
If they
the
can get
have
all
the
of
guy
the
from the
studios on
Shield
board,
be the Thing again, just to reprise his role. Dude, how sick would that be? That'd
it'd
be
be
so
awesome.
sick.
Just like
Yeah.
Spider-Man, like having the Spider-Man, like one last time to like tie them in, so that they do become canon in a way. Like
Yeah.
they're still their own standalone story because they're still their own standalone timeline. But at the same time, it would be like this juggling act of a miracle to tie all these in. And again, it's another way to tie in to, if you want to say that the Netflix shows are not canon, is another way to tie them in.
Yep.
And the possibilities of what they're messing with right now is just opening up a can of,
Of everything.
they can go so many places. And it's crazy. Like if you would have asked me 2 years ago where they're going to go after Endgame, I'd say, I remember saying this, and I probably told you after this movie, I was like, they don't need to make another movie. Like
No, they could
this
just
is
end it
done.
right here.
You
Yeah, they
can
could end
put
it
it.
right here.
You can sell the 20th edition every 5 years. You push out a new edition of the Blu-rays, and I'll buy it.
Yep.
So, you know, I- but now that I'm watching the shows and I've watched Black Widow now, it's I'm excited. I mean, there's nothing to say other than positive things. I'm excited for what's to come, and I think they're building up to more and more. If you could take anything away from Loki and Black Widow, is that the future of the MCU seems
Is
pretty
in
promising to me,
it's perfectly balanced. And
as all things should be.
in the words of Dutch Vanderlyn, they always had a plan.
I have a plan, Arthur.
Have some goddamn faith.
Just
But yeah,
that
so
dude.
nothing but praise for MCU, and I really hope the DC can follow through, man. It's just I know we touched a lot about DC and how we compare and contrast, but if DC would have got if like had a plan to like MCU, they would probably be rival and rival, and that'd be great because like I still say this 100% is that DC has the better heroes, because that's I remember watching a lot of that on Saturday mornings, like the Justice League and stuff like that. Like I know more about them than I did with like Captain America and Iron Man. So they have good stories. They just can't
Yeah, I think the
can't fucking
difference between
film them.
DC really is
Film them right.
there's two things that I would say that point out to it, and it's number one, the heroes themselves are so widely different. There's a lot of characters in the MCU that are very, very similar to one another.
Yeah.
In the DC universe, they are totally different.
Way
Totally
different.
different. Like Batman against Superman. Totally different.
Yep.
Totally different. Totally different. And then the other thing too, I would say, is just the villains are way better.
Yeah,
They're
villains
100% better.
way better. Way better
And
villains.
I hope King can do it. Like Thanos. Thanos is one of the greatest, probably the greatest comic book villain on screen that we've ever seen. I can't. Well, Joker, right? You have the Joker and Thanos are like the best comic book villains of all time
Yep.
on screen. Like if you're talking about what has been on screen, and those are the
For
two.
those 20
And then
years.
probably Loki, or probably Loki would come up to the next one, but maybe Doc Ock and Spider-Man 2.
Oh
He's
yeah,
pretty good.
Doc Ock too. Yeah.
Um, but I feel like the villains in DC are definitely a lot better
Oh,
than
absolutely. Way
Marvel.
better. Way better.
So, but I'm hoping to bring this full circle. I think Kang will definitely bring a different element to it because I think what we're used to seeing is a lot of brawn, like strength versus strength when it comes like when in terms of like Thanos versus Thor or
Yeah.
Hulk, say.
Now it's
And I
more like
think
outsmarting everyone type of
Yeah, and I
thing
think
now.
Kang will be a little bit more of wit, instead of just all brawn.
Yeah.
And it'll be technology and it'll be smarts and maybe even like using those smarts to split the team up separately and stuff. So
Dual
I'm
Hozemo.
excited. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Dual Hozemo
Zemo's great.
idea. All right, so that's kind of like our review. I think out of maybe out of 5 stars, I'd probably give it a 4. So I think it's up because of me. It's just the season finale was just like underwhelming in my opinion. But other than that, I enjoyed it for what it was. They kind of connected like the end game stuff, and hats off to Owen Wilson. He was great in it too.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, and then like near the end of it, after they killed Kang. Is that his name? Kang?
Yep.
And then he comes back, and that's what threw me off. He was kind of like, "Who are you?" I was like, "Who's this guy?" And he doesn't know him or anything. And I was like, "No, he's in a different, a different universe now because now Kang's the TVA leader now, and stuff." So it's kind of like, no, his version of Morpheus is gone, and it's like a new one. That broke my heart. Broke my heart.
Yeah.
So that was terrible.